Fantasy Football Podcast.
Oh, we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it.
As we should.
I completely forgot I had to hit that button, and then I didn't have it on the right page.
I was like,
and I hit that stupid ass horn, and then it was all off the rails at that point. Hey,
This
we're
podcast
starting.
might not go well.
Well, I did go to the bar before I came here.
Yep. This may be the podcast that brings us back to average. Because we've talked some good shit the last few podcasts.
Well, that means
so.
this one's going to be below average.
Exactly.
To average
That's
the
what I'm
rest
saying.
of
It's
them out.
bringing it all, down.
I got you. Well, just in case you want to find us after all that, you can find us at avgffpod.com. Look, sometimes I say dumb shit and I mix words and I say wrong positions or wrong names. I hope that for the most part, most people realize. But I think like last episode or the episode before, I said the website was AGV or AHV or I don't even know.
HPV, I think it was. I could be mistaken, but
hey. We won't need to bring that to the table, but yeah. And so I do my best. We are just average, as you mentioned, but you can find us there. You can find us Apple, Spotify, just about anywhere else. You can get a podcast. You can find us Facebook. You can find us on the X, even though I don't ever fucking post on that thing.
yeah, it's in YouTube's now. I mean,
We are on the YouTuber.
YouTubes.
Yeah, we're all over the YouTubes. Isn't that what the kids say?
That's what they say. They're like, hey, visit me on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes.
Look out there on the interwebs and find me on the YouTubes. That's where I be at.
This episode is going to be a dumpster fire.
Probably will, but it'll be a well lit one.
Yes.
Right now, it's lit. So
It's Skibbity No Ohio. I don't know what that means, but anyway, we are at AVG POD also on I think that's our YouTube handle as well. That's what I try to make it everywhere.
I'm pretty certain it is.
And so, but if not, just search for Just an Average
Google. Yeah, I mean,
Fantasy Football Podcast.
we're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, and now look, it's not a video of us, unfortunately. I hate to get you guys all excited.
It's probably good for y'all, but
It's a video of us talking with like a thing in the background or whatever, but it's still there and you can still hear it. And maybe one day we'll set up some cameras. And here's the thing: we have cameras, but it's not as easy as like it sounds. We have one platform that records the sound that we produce for the podcast through the microphones that I'm speaking to. If I set up cameras, they will then record their own sound from a different source, and it's like it's not going to be through a microphone, and so then trying to match the sound with the video, I'm not that skilled. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to do it all in one.
well, plus, I mean, we already got it streaming directly to our OnlyFans. It'd be difficult to put it on two different places at once, which we are at Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast
I don't know if you guys know this, we actually do the podcast completely naked,
the entire time.
and people pay us during the podcast to put clothes on.
Normally, bathroom
And
breaks
man,
are really what increase
we make so
the
much
views.
money.
Oh yeah, we're
We
rich,
make
man.
they're like, please, for the love of God, here's
like-
$100. Put your pants back on.
Every time you hear Daniel go, and Baker left to go to the bathroom, that's where we make our money. Because when I stand up, they're like, oh God, and people start sending money.
Yes.
I got to put clothes on before I come back in. Takes a little while longer, but we get it done.
Yeah, because we only do one piece at a time. So it's
Exactly.
like, we get $10, put a sock on.
Exactly. Trying to make my money. That yarmulke I bought helps out a lot too. Just anything minimal to keep adding clothes.
Oh God! Yeah,
Just
well,
one
the
thing at a time.
monocle that you incorporated with it really.
I bring my
brought it-
dentures in and put
Yes.
one top part in and then the bottom part in. It's one thing at a time,
Yeah,
man.
hey, whatever it takes. And so if you want to subscribe to that. Oh, sweet
If y'all
Lord.
can't tell, we love ourselves just as much as we love y'all. So it's good and fun. And
I love you. I don't know if I love me. So it's like a cross table love.
yeah, and that makes sense. It's
Oh, well, we're not getting dark now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hit on some news. Let's see. What does this button do?
Allegedly.
Oh, yeah.
No, God!
Yes. All right. All of it is working together. All right, so we did get
Got it.
Baker's soundboard working
Got it.
together.
Yeah,
today.
figured it out.
All right, so let's see. Let's hit this. Big news came across the wire today. Trade. Jahan Dotson traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 3rd and 2 7th-round picks.
Where's the no?
This is what Dotson players are,
know.
owners are saying.
No!
They're all like,
Please,
God.
no! No! No!
That's fitting. But from that trade, Luke McCaffrey
Yes.
owners are saying,
Surprise, motherfucker.
Facts.
just saying.
Yes,
just want to put that
This
out
could,
there.
and we will talk more about Luke McCaffrey based off of that trade and my feelings about him here in a little while. But yeah, so Dotson's going there, and you know, he didn't have a good year last year. That's been well documented. He had a decent year as rookie year, and we were hoping for a bounce back this year with is it Jalen or Jaden Daniels?
There you
Yes. You know, being the quarterback and a new coach, and hopefully that they incorporate him more into what they're doing. And now that he's with the Eagles, of course, he's going to definitely be behind A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So, you know, the one thing is that with Kellen Moore there, they are going to run three wide receiver sets more than what they ran last year. And so he will still, I think, have some value. And I think the pressure will also be off of him, you know, to when you're playing behind two guys who are basically ones, and then you can just go out there and do your thing. And when he's on the field, he's not going to be any sort of focus.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so
he's going to be the third or fourth option.
yeah. Yeah. And, you know, with Dallas Goedert, when he's healthy too, and you got Saquon there as well.
Yep.
So he definitely doesn't have to be the dude, and he's maybe gets lost in the sauce, and all of a sudden he's hitting, you get some wide open receptions, and maybe you get some value with him on efficiency. Maybe he scores a few tuds for you. You know, things like that. And next thing is I'm pretty sure, and I may be wrong about this, I'm pretty sure A.J. Brown's contract is up next season. And so there's talks that Devonta Smith is going to be the dude next year. And depending on what Dotson does this year, then maybe he slides into that second wide receiver role and moves
He signed
forward.
an extension.
Oh, he signed one this year?
2024 through 2029 for $96 million.
Okay, never mind.
That's a...
When is the dead cap below the roster? So, at what year does the dead cap become less than the roster?
Let me see if I can find the breakdown.
Yeah, because that's really if you really want to know how long a contract is, just look for where the dead cap becomes a way less number than what the rostered money is.
Yeah,
and that'll tell you when they can really get rid of a guy. So, but. You know, either way, if he did sign an extension, it's going to be a couple more years. So I was completely wrong about that. But you know, who knows? This offense definitely needs a spark, and maybe they can get them three wide receiver sets. And Goddard's not somebody who's been known to stay healthy all season.
Yeah,
and he's technically, I would say, probably the third option on this team. So if he goes down, then Dotson's going to become more viable running out of that slot position.
So 2027, his cap hits $22 million,
and his dead cap,
dead cap is 10.
Yeah, so that would be the first year they could get out of the contract.
Yeah, because the year before that is 23 and 23. So
yeah,
it's 2026. So 2027 would be potentially.
Okay, so he's at least going to be there 2 years without anything being crazy. So, but. You know,
but it's still. I don't know why I don't remember. We may have talked. Maybe it happened a while ago, and it slipped my mind. But
maybe that was when maybe that's still the original contract when they traded for him, because that was part of the stipulation
or something.
The reason the Titans got rid of him was because he was on a contract, so they got rid of him and drafted Traylon Burks, who was, and then eventually they paid Calvin Ridley what they should have paid A.J. Brown 100 years ago. So
exactly.
But and so, you know, I think the obviously the biggest beneficiary out of this is Luke McCaffrey. I think personally, this definitely opens a door wide the fuck open for him. I don't know that there's a ton of other
Diami Brown
Diami Brown's there, but he hasn't really done anything.
He's
you
had
know?
a couple flashes. Nothing like nothing solid. It's been like a 1 or 2 game kind of thing, but not anything that you would be like, oh, he's going to be the guy now that Jahan's gone. So.
Right. I mean, maybe he finally. I think this is his 3rd year, so maybe this is the year where things click. But I think this is more. I think this is more an opportunity for McCaffrey to, go out there and do what his brother. Byron Pringle's also there. Jameson Crowder, who's 12,000.
He's probably going to retire before the season starts.
I mean, they may actually start the season with Crowder running out of that slot. Running at that number 3, but I just don't see him being the number 2. Mm-mm. So I really think it's between Diami Brown and Luke McCaffrey to be that number 2 receiver with Dotson gone. So it's going to be interesting.
This is kind of why I said you always bet on lineage, when we were doing like the rookie talk and all that stuff. And with Luke McCaffrey, he's a McCaffrey. I mean, everything in his bloodline
Equanimeous ain't really held up the St. Brown name, though.
Not hugely, but he's still a professional football player. He's still out there. Like he's not like... Now, Amon-Ra kind of brought them both up to average. Now they're both average. They might be our average.
So what you're saying is, if you averaged out Equanimeous and Amon-Ra's fantasy production, then they would be equal to average receivers?
Exactly. They would both be wide receiver 2.5 to 3s.
You're probably right. It's kind of like the guy who said that there was a game that Jordan put up. I want to say Jordan put up 69 points in a game.
Okay, nice.
Or he put close to 70. It was like 66, 67, 68, 69.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy who scored like 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Like 4 points or something.
And he would go around and tell everybody that, that was the game that me and Jordan put up 70 points.
Exactly. Yeah, like we averaged it out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, me and Jordan scored 70 points in that game. So I feel what you're saying.
This is where we keep it average, man.
Yes.
Keep it average.
Yeah. Look, math is a fickle beast.
Yes, that is true.
Juwan Johnson back at practice. He had been on the PUP. We were hoping that he would be back before the first week, and it looks like he is. Gibbs, that's the tight end for the Saints, by the way, and somebody who is a deep sleeper at tight end if you're looking.
Yeah,
because he is a tight end. He is a touchdown monster. Like he will get you 8 touchdowns and only 600 yards, but it'll be like when you really fucking need it.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs back at practice this week, or hoping to be back at practice this week.
Supposed to be back this week.
Let's see. Tyreek Hill was seen wearing a arm brace,
like a temporary brace or whatever.
And apparently it's his thumb. Mike McDaniel. Is that it? That's not how you say it. Mike McDaniel.
I was going to let you figure it out.
Yeah, I'll sort it out eventually. Maybe was said during a press conference that he's really good at thumb wrestling. So
yeah,
I don't think that's what it is, but that's a funny comment. Let's see. The Predator, Deshaun Watson is fine. I didn't even realize he was hurt. But he,
shoulder
with him,
thing again, he fall off the massage table or something.
Apparently, or he didn't get it massaged properly.
Yeah.
But he's getting a full practice in, and Amari Cooper's back at practice. So
love that.
Curtis Samuel with his turf toe is hopeful for week 1. I don't like the hopeful part. I would like them to come out and say he's going.
That always makes me nervous, man. Anytime they say they're hopeful for it, it's like you might as well mark them down.
Yeah.
Though.
You go get your Shakir shares now.
Yeah, go ahead and set up your new sleeper auto place or whatever it is. Yeah.
Brock Bowers dealing with a foot issue. This is his 2nd week, I believe, dealing with that. So, if you Michael Mayer, be like, all right, well, maybe Michael Mayer will start out getting a couple weeks in.
Get a little something before you have to bench him for a while.
Ricky Pearsall dealing with a shoulder issue, so hopefully he gets back out there pretty quick. And I believe that's it.
I did hear that Ayuk is back happy with communications with the 49ers.
Yeah,
it's been kind of like a light kind of tap around, tiptoe around and everything.
Yeah, I felt from the beginning, and this is no inside information. It's
just good
for him to leave, but I always felt he was going to stay with the 49ers.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be a franchise tag, dealing him off next year. So full disclosure, I didn't think he was going to get a contract from them. But I will say this: if he gets a contract, that means Debo's gone next year.
Yeah,
virtually, that's what that means. So we'll see, but I do think he's going to be there this year, and I do think he'll play this season as a 49er. But
I feel that way too, especially
unless they piss him off.
Well, especially with the whole, I don't know what's really going on with the Pearsall injury, but it's been lingering for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And if that is they feel like a genuine threat, they might feel more confident in going ahead and keeping Ayuk to, like we said before, they got so much going on for them right now.
Yes.
They can't take getting rid of Ayuk and then Pearsall not come back from this shoulder thing quickly enough, and you lose 3 games in the beginning of the season. You're playing catch up, and it's
if they let Ayuk walk, if they do a trade and then they come out the box cold and Pearsall's hurt, and it's not going to be. Jawan Jennings will be looking pretty nice though.
That's fantasy wise, snatch him up.
But yeah, so all right, so let's roll from there. We're going to do some hot takes. We're going to see how hot we can get. We each have about 5 of them. And we'll see what that entails. So we'll do hot takes.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Like a genie just came in here and granted a wish for us or something. Or a fairy godmother or something.
My first hot take. Let's see. Well, we'll go ahead and start here since he was mentioned. I think based off of the trade, based off of the fact that the team is technically in a rebuild, so they're trying to see what they want. They're going to be running the guys out there. I think Luke McCaffrey finishes as a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 3 as a rookie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A rookie who's only been playing wide receiver for 2 years in college.
Yeah, because he was, a quarterback before
he
that,
was.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, this is on a team that has a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
And still has a little question with O-line.
Yep.
Because I think they picked up like a left guard, I think, and they drafted somebody that's supposed to be really good. I was watching some preseason games. He's everywhere. So, I mean, I don't necessarily know that he knows the playbook as well as he needs to, but he does look everywhere. But, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to completely get on board, but I don't think it's like a super huge stretch, if that makes sense. Like, I could see it happening because I'll
just put it to you like this, just to make it even, just to make it easy. I think Luke McCaffrey is going to finish as a top 36 wide receiver.
Okay, I could see that, and where you're drafting him, and even you're still going to draft him from here out. That's still going to be value, I think, because
I think he's going to become a safety outlet. I don't expect him to be a downfield guy, and I think McLaurin's going to be the guy for sure.
Oh yeah.
Their tight end situation's a little up in there. They have Zach Ertz, but Zach Ertz is a run 4 yards, turn around, catch the ball. He's not downfield. Ben Sennett's a rookie. It's very rare that a rookie tight end makes a heavy impact as a receiver.
Yeah.
Once you get past McCaffrey and Ertz, you're talking about Byron Pringle. You're talking about the dude Diami Brown. You're talking, there's nobody else. So, and now this is all contingent on if they go out and make some splash signing that I don't see. And they go out and trade for Ayuk, then I completely retract this.
The only devil's advocate I would bring up is just the fact that they did sign a pretty heavy pass catching back, who I know is slow, but still demands targets.
And Eckler, 100%.
And Eckler. So I mean, and we saw they lost Gibson. Gibson is gone, and Brian Robinson isn't quite the pass catching back.
He isn't.
But Eckler can potentially
their defense is doo-doo Browntown.
Yeah, so they're going to throw the ball a bajillion times.
600 plus times more than likely. I know Jaden Daniels is going to run the ball for sure.
Yeah.
But he's still going to have, we'll say 550 plus times he's going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah, he's going to have to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah. And I just think McCaffrey's going to probably get 130, 140 targets this year.
Yeah.
As a rookie.
And he really could. I mean, especially if we know what Howell had to do there last year between splitting all the targets up between everybody and trying to get it. Curtis Samuel had 120 something targets last year. So,
and they were obviously passing more, but they didn't want to. Ron Rivera's never been a pass first coach.
Yeah.
But their defense was just atrocious.
They had to put it downfield in order to get anywhere. So I could see it. It is a hot take.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be like, I'm on board, but I can definitely see it. I do.
I just think that they made this move for a reason. They didn't trade Jahan Dotson because they think that the guys behind them suck.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's anybody else other than Luke McCaffrey that they're looking at that they think is going to be good.
That makes sense.
And so I just think that they're going to give him the opportunity, and as long as he steps up. Now, obviously, with hot takes, these are long shot things that we think can happen, and if they happen, then we're going to own it. And if they don't, we'll be like, "Hey, that's well as a hot take."
Yeah, I'll still own it. I'll be like, "Yeah, I was wrong," but it was still a hot take.
Yeah,
still a hot take.
All right, so what's your first hot take?
Let's go warm take.
Okay,
because he's been in this position before, but I think he brings it back up again. I think we see Trevor Lawrence in the top 10 again this year.
Okay,
I mean, he was 8 overall 2 years ago with, when they went out and spent all this money on receivers, and we're like, what are they doing? And it showed a little bit, but not a lot as far as their wins, but it showed a lot for fantasy.
Well, he got them fat stacks on stacks. So.
We saw Trevor Lawrence put up bigger points. The receivers got bigger points. And I mean, I just think last year he finished 15 overall, quarterback 15. And I think his game pulls back up again. I think it gets right back up. They got Gabe Davis now, which I'm not a huge fan, but he's still a good target.
He's a great red zone target. You can look at what he did with Buffalo and the amount of red zone targets. He was it was insane. The red zone, when he was on the field, he was targeted. Mm-hmm. And so Josh Allen loved him. He's able to get open. He's a big body guy. And
he's better than Zay Jones.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So and that's an improvement.
I think Zay Jones is more down the field explosiveness.
Yeah.
But I think Gabe Davis is a better route runner. He's going to run better underneath routes, and I think that he's a better possession guy.
They also got I know they got rid of Calvin Ridley, which I mean honestly I feel was a good move. I'm not a big fan of what he did there.
I don't understand the love of Calvin Ridley this year with some people. I get that he got paid a ton of money, but he's going. I mean, this whole thing we've talked about before. He's going to a team with a rookie freaking coach, a rookie quarterback, and and DeAndre Hopkins is there. Now I know DeAndre's hurt right now, but they're saying he's going to be back by week 1 or real close to the beginning of the season. So
yeah,
I don't understand the Calvin. I've never really understood it. Since he basically fell apart after he was supposed to be the guy in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's capable of being anything more than what he's. I mean, he had a good year with Julio.
Well, that's what I think. I don't know if it was. I think it was Terrell that said, Calvin Ridley is one of those receivers that kind of depends on having a one out there to help make him a one. He needs somebody to help pull targets, or he can't deal with double coverage.
If D-Hop's out there, then maybe that makes it better for him.
It may make it help. It may help him out some, but I mean, I don't know. Either way, I think Trevor and Brian Thomas. I don't know if y'all looked at any of the preseason games or watching, and I know it's just preseason. That's fine, but this guy's running. I'm actually surprised at how well he is playing out, and I think we're going to be shocked a little bit. He's not in my hot takes. But I do think that he's going to shock some of us with where he finishes up. And this is going to be dependent on Trevor Lawrence. This is going to help Trevor Lawrence finish.
No, I'm with you. I think I said earlier in the season that Trevor Lawrence to me is I think this is the year he came out. He was touted as the next football Jesus. Mm-hmm. He was going to be the next great quarterback,
the elite of the elite.
Yeah, and he just really hasn't lived up to that. Of course, his rookie year with Urban Meyer was a dumpster fire.
Yep.
And so this will be. Is this his 4th or 5th year in the
going
league?
Into the 4th?
So this will be his 3rd year with Doug Peterson. Correct. Doug Peterson is a quarterback whisperer, and he has turned that whole team around. I don't know if he's the long-term solution for greatness for that team, but he's a billion times better than Urban Meyer. Mm-hmm. And I think this will be the 3rd year that he and Trevor have been together. And then it's like my idea of why I think Trevor's going to be good is because it's either this year or it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go out there this year and show that he can be, I'm not saying he's got to be up there with Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. I'm not saying that. But he needs to be in that second tier. He needs to step up to that second tier.
Exactly.
He just got paid like he's in the top tier. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, is this the year where he steps up and he says, I am that guy. I can be that guy. Mm-hmm. And I think he can. I think he has all the tools. And this could be the year they went out and they, like you said, they got him weapons. They got him Brian Thomas. They got him Gabe Davis. He still has Etienne there. He still has Ingram. Ingram didn't do anything 2 years ago. Last year, he was almost broke records.
Yeah.
So it's like they're still figuring out these players, this idea. And Christian Kirk is his best receiver. It's not like he's got a freaking, Debo or Ayuk or any of these top
Which
guys.
could be Brian Thomas. I mean,
it could be.
Not you're not just saying from
Hell.
what I've seen. It's
not a hot take, but Gabe Davis could be somebody who's been underutilized.
Underutilized,
You look
yeah.
at what he did 2 years ago, which is why he was touted last year. We talked about Gabe Davis last year as being a huge breakout for the Bills, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at the tape, it wasn't because he didn't get open. It's just that Diggs Diggs demanded a lot of targets, obviously.
demanded a lot. Yep.
And then their whole offense changed at the end of the season. So I'm not saying Gabe Davis is going to be a top end receiver, but I think that he was been underutilized with the Bills, and I think he is going to be a way better receiver for this type of scheme than what Zay Jones or anybody else was, or even Calvin Ridley was for this team, because he's first of all, he's going to block his ass off for the run game. That's Gabe does that hands down.
Oh yeah.
And he's a 50-50 guy. So I'm with you on this. So I support that shit 100%.
I think he takes a step back up to where he was 2 years 2 years ago.
So my next hot take is Najee Harris is going to be a top 5 fantasy running back this year.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Ooh.
And here's the thing. I don't think Najee Harris is that good.
Yeah.
But here's what I do know. I know that Arthur Smith is now the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I know that Arthur Smith is not the head coach, so he doesn't have complete say over personnel. And so when he calls a play and he wants to run the third string tight end to run the ball, I feel like Tomlin's going to go, no. Let's let Najee run it.
We're going to bring Najee out for this.
We'll run your play, but we're going to run it with the guy who's designed to run it. But I think Najee, I think Jalen Warren's a good back, but he hasn't taken that job in 2 years. Najee's held that job for 2 years. There's a reason. There was a reason he was a first-round draft pick. He's a great pass catcher, and this, he's one of these guys that he needs volume. He's like a Derrick Henry. He's like a whatever. He needs to get out there and he's got to wear this defense down, and then he's going to show you what he can do on the back end. And I think that this year he's probably going to get the opportunity. Jalen Warren's hurt right now. He's dealing with a hammy. Maybe he's back. Maybe he isn't. But if Najee goes out there at the beginning of the season without Jalen Warren and he dominates and he shows what he can do, if you give him 25 to 30 touches a game, then maybe when Warren comes back, he ain't he ain't getting the percentages what he was getting before. And I think that this team, based off of the quarterback play in this preseason or lack thereof, they're going to need to run the fuck out of this ball. And I think that that's why they brought in Arthur Smith. And I think their entire offense is going to be predicated on running the ball. And even if Najee's out there, not Najee, but Warren's out there. If you're running the ball 30, 35 times a game, or you're involving the running backs 30 to 35, possibly 40 times a game, then there's enough opportunity for everybody to eat when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I think this is a team that's going to heavily involve the running backs. It's a good thing that they don't have a whole lot of competition for receiver, because I think Pickens will be good, but he'll be good because there's not a lot of competition. But I don't think there's going to be a huge passing pie for everybody. So
Najee in his so he hasn't missed a game yet. He's been healthy.
Yeah, dude's
3 years now, 17.
He's an Iron Man.
So year one, he finishes RB4.
Yep.
Okay, that was on the shoulders of 307 rushing attempts.
Yep.
1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, with 74 receptions.
Yeah.
And 3 passing
That was
touchdowns.
That was with Roethlisberger and his check down Charlie.
Without Warren.
Yeah.
Warren wasn't there. Warren came in the next year. Then the next year, which was he finished 14th overall.
Yeah.
Still had 272 attempts, which is 30 less.
Yeah.
But only had 53 targets, 41 receptions.
Right.
And then last year, he only had 29 receptions.
Yeah.
So
what was targets?
He had 38.
Yeah.
So with
So if you can
Warren
get
out
back
there,
up around that 50 mark,
you need Warren to be injured. I'm just thinking for this to take to happen.
right?
Warren would not need to be out there at all, and Najee would have to play that every down back, like that pass catching.
Well, here's another
that
thing you got to consider.
receiving back and all that stuff.
This
as
is
well.
the year they decide they didn't pick up his 5th year.
They didn't, so they're going to have to use him.
This is the year they have to figure out whether he's going to be there next year.
Yeah,
And so I just think Najee knows that, they know that, and he's, to me, I like Jaylen Warren, but I think Najee's a better running back.
Oh no, I
Overall.
would 100% agree with that. Just in fantasy, sometimes like just having
Fresh
slightly
legs.
or
Yeah.
having a slightly lesser back behind it takes all the
Yeah,
Najee
you look at
is-
Tony Pollard with Zeke.
With Zeke, yeah, exactly. It's-
No, I get that. I 100% get that. I don't know. I feel it in my balls.
I think even to say that Najee finishes in the top 15 this year is still a hot
Wow.
take. Personally, that's where I'm
to
saying.
me, a top 15 is a given.
What I'm
if
just
he
saying,
stays
like,
healthy.
he's gonna. I'm assuming.
Where
he's
did he
gonna
finish
stay
last
healthy.
year?
20.
20.
Finished 20 overall.
Yeah, and I think this offense will be better
His-
this year.
but his
And
yards
last
per
year,
carry-
their offense was in disarray. You got Arthur Smith out there. He finished at 4, and then what was the second year? 12,
14.
14? Yeah.
4, 14, and then 20. And here's the thing: is like his attempts have only gone back a little bit each year. His touchdowns have been the same each year, but his targets.
It's his targets,
It's
yeah.
his targets that's
Yeah.
killed him. I mean, last
but
year he didn't have any receiving touchdowns, but he had
But you know
3
what?
each year before that.
If
so.
if they go back and if anybody is studies enough, they'll say Najee didn't get as many targets last year, and we were straight up doo-doo buns on offense.
Yep.
So maybe we need
maybe
to bring him back into the
back.
fold.
I'm just saying, like, even this is a hot take. That's amazing. I'm awesome, all for it. But I was saying, even if you'd have come to me and said, "Hey, he's going to finish as a top 12," I'd have been like, "Oh wow," or, like going top 5. That's some balls.
Hey, listen,
the table's lopsided.
I'm
right
the
now.
same guy that said Herbert's going to finish as the QB1 last year. So just know that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You know what you're talking about because you see things too, and sometimes this shit just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
This is all. It's what it is.
That's why they
It's
call it
just
hot.
all-
That's why they call it hot.
Well,
Listen, if I had to bet money on it, I would not bet money on this.
yeah.
But they call it a hot take.
But just
and really, all hot takes are is I say something wild, and then if it happens, I go, hell yeah,
That was me.
I called that shit.
I did that.
And again, like I said earlier, if it doesn't happen, then I act like I never said it.
Exactly. I'll pretend you didn't say it. I'm here for you, man. We got this.
All right, what's your next?
I
one?
went with another quarterback, and this is one that I'm going opposite. I think dude takes a pretty large step back.
Oh, snap.
I think he goes back to where I think he should be.
Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can predict who this quarterback is. This is a quarterback that you think is going to go back to where they should be.
Correct.
And his name is Jared Goff.
No.
Oh, hold on.
So he finished 9
I
last
got to
year.
get one more guess.
He finished 9 overall last year and 15 the year before,
Oh, so he's been in the league 2 years.
and 26 the year before,
Holy shit.
and 31 the year before.
Oh, so he's going really back to where he should
I think
be.
this guy takes a large step back.
And where did he finish last year? 9?
9.
Okay, hold on. Who finished 9? Who finished 9? Who finished 9?
You can't say his name.
Oh, Voldemort.
No.
Or,
Baltimore.
I'm sorry.
Are we talking Harry Potter right now?
I just gave myself away about podcasts that I'll say. There's another podcast that calls him Voldemort. Deshaun Watson.
No.
Oh.
No. He's. I think he's been higher than 9.
Yeah, he was 4. You're right.
His second year or
Yeah,
whatever.
my bad. Anyway, who is it? I'm sorry.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Wow.
Yep.
See, if I had to guess, I would expect Tua to take a step forward this year.
I don't think so. I think beyond popular belief,
You think he's going to
with-
drop out
with near
of?
everything, I think he pulls back into the 12, 13, 14.
Oh.
I think he takes a large step back. this
See,
next year.
for me, if I had to guess, I would say he finishes in the top 6 this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's his second year in this offense.
Yeah.
The second year with these receivers. And what he did last year, he finished as the quarterback. He had the most passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was highly inconsistent. And I wasn't, as someone who had him in a couple different leagues, I wasn't happy. Because,
on a week-to-week basis, he was definitely inconsistent.
Yeah, because one week you get 40 and the next week you get 12.
Exactly. Some were even worse than that. 8 and 6. And yeah.
And so I get the point you're coming from, but I expect improvement. Did you see, real quick, the interview? He did an interview on a podcast, and he was talking about the difference between playing for Brian Flores, his previous coach, and playing for Mike McDaniel.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that one yet.
And this is paraphrasing, obviously. He said, imagine being told every day that you are terrible, being told every day you don't deserve to be here, and being told every day that you're never going to make it in the NFL. He goes, that's what it was like being with Brian Flores. And then when Mike McDaniel came in, being told that you can do this, that you're accurate, we're going to build a team for you, that you're amazing and all this. And it was like, it was night and day. And he goes, I don't care. He's like, I don't care if you're the president of the United States. He goes, if you're told every day that you're trash, eventually you're going to start believing it.
Yeah, you're going to be the worst.
And I'm like, dang, because I knew, obviously, you look back during the Brian Flores years, Brian Flores never wanted Tua. That was like well documented. The ownership group made him draft Tua because the whole tank for Tua, all that stuff went on, and then Tua got hurt right before the draft in the championship game. Or it might have been in one of the playoff games. I can't remember. But it was right towards the end of the season he got hurt. But they still drafted him, I think, 5th. And Flores didn't want him. And then once he came to the team, Brian Flores was like, they were still like, they had other quarterbacks they were still trying to bring in to compete with him and take his job and stuff, like your boy Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah.
You remember Fitzpatrick got the starting job that year, and then finally after like 8 weeks Tua got the job.
Tua got to come in.
Yeah. And so that was the whole thing. And so I have a special place in my heart for Tua. And I think that he's persevered through so much injury in college, and then coming into the league, and then having to deal through all that. And he finally has a guy who believes in him and built
a great team around him. Yeah, he does have a great team
built on speed with great receivers. He has 2 really great receivers in Waddle and Tyreek, and I just think they went out and got Johnny Smith to help him. You got 2 great running backs. Achan's in his second year. They went out and got Jalen Wright. You still got Mostert. So to me, if everybody's healthy, it's just hard for me to see how he gets worse. But that's what hot takes are about.
But I will also say, too, like if you're looking at the separation between 9 and 15 and a quarterback, it's like 40 points.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
So it's like 10 interceptions and 2 missed touchdowns or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not, I mean, last year he only had 29 touchdowns.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's pretty low for a top 10.
100%.
A top 10. He had so many yards.
But he had like 5,000 and something yards. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was 46-24.
Okay.
But even still, like he had 560 attempts last year. And if you look at Tua week 1 through 12 and Tua week 13 through 17, his abilities took a dive. Like that's a lot to throw. That's a lot to expect your quarterback to do. 560 attempts in a year is a lot for a quarterback. I mean,
well, yeah, that, and if you look at the schedule, because they had a tougher schedule in the back half of the year last year,
and had to play. So I just like, I don't know. I don't think Tua personally is built for this high pass of an offense. Like last year was really good for him because he threw so much.
You must have been hanging out with Brian Flores.
Probably. Me and him, we have lunch together occasionally, but it's not anything I like to talk about amongst everybody. But I just don't know. I don't see it like, I don't see it happening this next year, because also too, in the same breath, like I just said before, there's only a few points that separate 9 to 15.
Yeah.
I see quite a few other quarterbacks that are going to take steps up, and somebody's got to move if somebody's going to move up. So this isn't necessarily reflecting saying Tua's going to suck so bad. He may score the same points as last year and still finish as 13 or 14.
No, that
makes sense?
100% true, because you got to start thinking about, like, Jaden Daniels is here. If he plays the entire season, he's going to be probably a QB1.
Somebody's going to move up
because of his rushing ability.
So
Anthony Richardson's going to be back, and if he stays healthy, he's going to be a QB1.
If he plays 6 weeks, he's going to be a QB1. So
based off of his rushing ability,
that's part into this. Like I think Tua's going to take a large step back. And I say large, like 5 or 6 positions.
Yeah,
I think it comes back to like 13, 14, 15, somewhere in that realm. But overall, because him a little step back personally, and some of these other people kind of moving up. I just don't want people thinking that. I don't think Tua is going to finish in the top 10.
Right.
I'll put it that way and make it that way. I think he finishes outside of that, and may not be solely based on him, but it's a mixture of what could happen around him and with other quarterbacks and what he's going to do. So
okay, well, since we're talking about quarterbacks that are going to be moving up, I have one. I actually have two.
you have 2 quarterbacks moving up.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Let's see. I'll actually hit them both.
My shitty bladder's calling.
Oh, you gotta go. You should put your pants on. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. They want you to put your pants on. Will Levis will be a QB1, not the QB1. Let's all calm down. A QB. I think Will Levis will finish this season as a top 12 fantasy quarterback, and I just literally 5 seconds ago shit on Calvin Ridley. So I have to at least call myself out on that, because in order for Levis to be a QB1, Calvin Ridley is going to have success, but he doesn't have to be any more successful than he was last year. And I know that he finished last year, I think like 19 or something. But if you look at the breakdown of what Ridley did last year, it wasn't like he may have averaged a decent amount every week, but he wasn't scoring that amount every week, because he was as inconsistent as anybody you've ever had. As I stall long enough to pull up Calvin Ridley's rankings from last year. So last year, yeah, he was 18 or 17.5 point PPR. And I want to say that I don't think Calvin Ridley's not talented. I don't know. I don't have anything with him personally.
So the hard part, this is probably in similar boats as to where I get on board with some players. You haven't seen personally enough to like represent the hype everybody talks about him.
The year that he was out from getting in trouble, they actually have his ranking.
Oh no!
I didn't realize there were this many wide receivers in the NFL. In a half-point PPR, he was ranked 1,031. He scored 0 fantasy points.
Holy shit! And he was probably tied with, let's see, who wasn't in the league at that time.
Well, I mean, he was tied with me.
He's tied with you. Yeah. That's where I would be if I was a wide receiver too.
Because I was trying to look. I was going to see what he'd done before. So the year he did amazing with Julio. He finished as the wide receiver 4, and he was amazing that year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was.
And so, if by the end of the season we look back and Calvin Ridley dominates, then I will absolutely eat my words. I will own that shit. And maybe I just got burnt from him last year. Maybe it's because I had him and I just didn't feel like he was as good as what his numbers say he was.
Sometimes there's certain players that you draft or that you like try to follow the hype on.
Yeah.
And then when they don't come close enough for your comfort to the hype, you're like, this guy's a bum. You just kind of you revert. And like the Rondale Moore thing the other day. Like he had a couple weeks that saved my ass.
Yeah, you're right. So now it's got to be the inverse of that.
Exactly.
There's got to be the inverse
one of those.
Same
it's
idea.
one of those situations where even though you don't have the cold hard facts, and you could be completely wrong, but you feel inside, did this guy's a bum or this guy's awesome.
Right.
Rondale Moore's a great wide receiver. I don't know why he's not playing on all teams.
Yeah.
But
and
here
it
we
also
are.
boils down to where you draft somebody. If you draft somebody high enough and they do their pants, it's like, you look at Tony Pollard's a great example.
Yeah.
If you drafted Tony Pollard in the first round last year, you were pissed.
You were mad.
But if you drafted Tony Pollard in the 5th round last year, you were stoked.
And same thing with this year. If you draft him in the 1st, you're going to be pissed. But if you draft him in the 5th,
but nobody's trying to draft him in the 1st, so it's like where everybody gets pushed. But back to my original point.
Yes,
I think that Will Levis. So it's all about what's between his ears for me. He has all the tools. He has the arm strength. He has the athletic ability. He can literally flick his wrist and zip a ball 50 yards downfield on a rail.
Yep,
I've seen it. He has the talent. He has D-Hop if he's healthy. He's now got Ridley. He's got 2 running backs who are both very good pass catchers. He's got Chigakonkwo out there who, when we've seen him last year, not so much, but the year before we saw him and he was able to showcase his ability, his athletic ability out there. And then they brought in a coach who wants to throw the ball, who came from Cincinnati, who wants to go out there and throw the ball and get it out there. And so, they've been mired under, I won't say mired, their previous coach. Oh my God, I wish I could remember names better.
You don't need to know names, just guess.
The previous head coach, I think it was a great head coach, and I wish the Panthers would have got him, of the Titans. But he was a run-first defensive guy, former linebacker, I'm pretty sure, for the Patriots back in the day. But anyway, the new coach is an offensive dude. He's going to want to throw the ball. He's going to want to utilize the running game, the play-action pass, and all those good things. And he's going to try to put his QB in the best situations for him to be successful. And I think him having an offensive mind, he's going to design a game plan that's going to allow Will Levis to not have to read defenses as much. You're going to have 1-2 checks, get the ball out. 1-2 checks, get the ball out. We're going to try to get these guys to the flats, these hot routes, these quick routes, and do these things. And then we're going to take our shots.
Yeah.
And so, I think, given all that, Will Levis has the opportunity to be a QB1. And then, since we're talking about QBs, I'll go ahead and hit my next one, then we'll hit yours. Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be a top 3.
Ooh.
Top 3 fantasy quarterback. I think that he is going to come out here this year and he's going to remind everybody who the fuck he is. He was out majority of last season. He was playing under Kingsbury before that. And now I think that the Cardinals have found their coaching staff. I think they have found their way to start getting back to where they want to be. I think that they are going to become a team within the next 3 to 5 years that people are going to be like, holy shit, the Cardinals are fucking awesome. They're really smart. Their offensive scheme is really smart. And I think that Kyler Murray is going to flourish under that. The reason he's going to flourish is that he's not going to be called upon to do as much, which sounds weird, but it's going to allow him the freedom to be more about what he's about.
Yeah.
That it's not going to be trying to run 60 plays a fucking game all the time, fast, spread it out, dink and dunk, run the ball type shit. It's going to be a game plan designed around his ability and for him to run the ball, use his cannon arm. They went out and got Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's just they got Trey Benson at the running back. They already had James Conner. You already got Trey McBride. And I think that they are going to start utilizing their playmakers and the scheme. And Kyler Murray is going to go out there and he's going to set the world on fire. I'm trying to get him everywhere right now. I tried to trade Josh Allen for him. Not straight up. I was trying to get Kyler Murray plus
a little bit, yeah.
Because that would be insane.
But not like plus a lot, but still plus.
No. I was trying to get in a dynasty. I was trying to get. It was a single QB, so let's specify that.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the 109 rookie pick, and I was trying to get like Jake Ferguson because I needed a tight end. The guy never responded to the trade, but either way, I'm trying to acquire him because I think that he's going after this year. You're going to be going, holy shit, Kyler Murray is a top 5 asset.
Yeah, I completely agree that given a full healthy season with that's another one that's kind of building their offense up the last 2 years. Surprisingly, like
you look at what he did when
he
came back last year, even in the short period of time that he played. You saw a little bit, and that was him coming back from injury into an offense that he hadn't been playing in all year.
Yeah.
He didn't even get to practice in it. And then, you look at, now I don't know what the scoring is in this league, but I imagine that it's not anything crazy. So he came back week 10, 18 25, 22, 14, bye week, 17, 24, 31, 20. And so he came back and he was right there where you want him to be, you know? And that was like, that's not top 3 numbers. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they are. But that was him coming back from an injury into an offense that he hadn't been practicing in and immediately getting in there and putting up really nice points. You give him a whole offseason, a whole preseason, and now he's ready to roll. And you give him, that was without without Marvin Harrison Jr. And so, you know, I just think that this year we're all going to be reminded who the fuck Kyler Murray is.
Kyler Murray finished 3rd overall in 2020.
Yeah.
He played a full season, and he had 133 attempts and 819 yards, rushing yards. That's rushing side. And last year, coming back, he had 44 attempts and 244 yards.
And that was from week 10
just on 8 weeks.
Yeah.
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
So, I mean, you take that and double it. You're looking, he's going to put up 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's almost just a few touchdowns shy of his his season where he finished 3rd anyway. So, I mean,
and you give him more efficiency in the pass game.
Especially Marvin Harrison out there exploding.
And when he came back last year, he was coming off this major knee issue. So, like, his rushing took a few games for him to even get back into the flow of it.
And he had a lot of scrubs out there. I mean, there was a lot of people that were like, I mean, like, I'm a big, like, Dortch fan, Greg Dortch fan, but he's clearly not a one. He's not a one receiver out there. He's not some guy that's going to light the world.
Yeah.
You had somebody like Marvin Harrison out
there.
You
only like Dortch because of his last name.
I like the Dortch. But I still like it because he helped me out in fantasy.
Yeah.
And I'm probably imagining him really bigger than he really is.
Well, you got Mike Wilson.
Yeah, Mike Wilson. Last year, he was the rookie that kind of showed up.
And see, everybody's predicting him to be the number 2 anyway. So it's like.
Yeah, so there's. But I just think, I agree. I do feel Kyler Murray is going to be one that people they're sleeping on right now. I guess I'll go with my next one. Aaron Jones.
How many do you have left? 2?
I have 3 left.
Oh shit! Well, you need it.
I'll hit 2. I'll finish it up real quick.
Go ahead and run yours because I only got 1 left.
Aaron Jones finishes as a top 12 running back this year.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I think he came
in
back.
That offense. Absolutely. If he stays healthy, he will be.
He doesn't have to be the one, in my opinion, even to do this. He is so explosive and so. I mean, look what he did when he came back last year after his injury and everything. He was just all over the place, putting up points for everybody. I mean, he came back. In the weeks he played, it was like 16, 9, 10, 15. And this one's like, it's like a half point, it's a low point. But still, he finished 19. He finishes RB11, RB10, RB7, RB6. And this is on a league that wasn't really using him as much as coming off the injury and everything. If he comes in healthy, I think he's just going to light the world.
Absolutely.
He finishes top 12. I then have Jameson Williams.
Snap.
I think he finishes top 24. He finishes a wide receiver 2.
I love it.
I think he's got to take somebody's got to take a huge step up there because we're not going to see a repeat of Laporta being this 1,000 yards overall. You know, it's not going to be like that. But Amon-Ra's the man, but there's nobody else. There's nobody else there. Somebody's got to take a step up. And I think they've been setting it up.
If they want to get to where they want to get to, somebody else has got to be something.
And he's definitely growing with this offense. And like you said, they're kind of opening him up to a little bit more here and there. But so I think he finishes as top 24 wide receiver. And then probably the one that's going to get us canceled, but I think Tank Dell finishes as the wide receiver 1 for their team overall.
You think he finishes as a top fantasy wide receiver?
I think he finishes as a top fantasy wide receiver over Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins.
Wow.
Yep. I think he finishes with more fantasy points than either one of them. Wow. And he's listed as their 3rd wide receiver, but I think he finishes over both of them.
That is a hot take, not because I don't think he can do it, but because I don't know if he can stay healthy to do it. Because he's like as big as my left leg.
He is, and his one injury, it took like 25 people to bend him over in half.
Because they had him fucking blocking in the goal line.
That was a little bit on the team.
For a run play.
But
what kind of dumbass coach makes that decision? Let's send our smallest freaking offensive player to go block in the pile of a run play. Yeah, put him on the sidelines, dipshit.
If you take his numbers and compare his numbers last year to Nico Collins finished 9 overall, wide receiver 9. Tank Dell finished 38. And Tank Dell only played 11 games. Nico played 15.
Yeah.
But he averaged 15 yards a game, which Nico only averaged 11 or a catch. 15 yards a catch.
15. I got you.
Nico averaged 11. Tank Dell had 7 in 4 less games, touchdowns, where Nico had 8 overall for the season. Tank Dell had 75 targets, 47 receptions, a lot less like that garbage, but still had. Now, Nico did get a lot more yardage because of his targets and everything, but I think because he played more games.
Right.
But he come down with more of his catches, receptions and whatnot. But I think if Tank Dell's healthy, he plays the whole time. I think he's going to surprise us. He's going to end up with like 10, 12 touchdowns, which is going to be higher than both Diggs and Nico. And he's just going to end up finishing as a wide receiver 1 for Houston this year.
So pull up Tank Dell on your phone.
Okay. This is where I wish I had like picture in picture.
Yeah, me too. Because this is something that I just want. I want to kind of get a. So, what games did Tank Dell play? Like a majority of the games.
1 through 12. So
1 through 12.
So because he's week 13 was his injury. So
all right. So we just go for the first 12 weeks.
Yes.
All right. And what kind of targets are we looking at through the first 12 weeks?
Weeks 1 through the bye week, because he missed week 6.
Week 7.
So he had 10 targets week 2.
Okay.
But he only had 4 week 1, 7 week 3, 3 week 4, and 4 week 5.
It's what I'm trying to figure out is when we're looking at with both of them on the field.
So let's look at 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Okay, so week 9.
Yep.
Nico had 5 targets. He was out week 10.
Okay, so maybe he got injured that game.
Yes.
So
or he didn't play. He was injured maybe the week before.
Tank had 11 targets and had 114 yards and 2 touchdowns in week 9.
Okay. What about week 11?
Week 11, he had 10 targets
and
149 yards.
Nico
and a touchdown.
had 11.
So they both had equal share targets. What did Nico do with his? What did he finish point wise?
7 targets. For 7 catches, 65 yards. He finishes wide receiver 28.
So that week, Tank Dell finished as wide receiver 3, had 8 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown. I think he's the most explosive.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that when Nico was on the field, Tank wasn't forgot about.
Yeah.
So clearly that's not the case.
So there's something there to say for Tank that he's the most explosive. I think he gets the most like separation. He's got the most yards per catch, even on less weeks.
No, he's definitely the most explosive of the two.
So barring injury, as we do with most of this,
100%.
If everybody stays healthy to the end of the year, I think Tank Dell finishes as wide receiver 1 for Houston in fantasy this year.
You know what's funny is
over Diggs and
so
Nico.
on Facebook, we're in these fantasy football groups, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm right, but earlier in the season, a guy was like, I'm pretty sure and he didn't know. He's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish within the top 3 on like bottom 3 of my league. So I have the top 3 pick.
I have a top 3 pick. Yeah.
He's like, a guy's offering me Tank Dell and like a 2nd round pick for my pick, and I was like, I'd do that deal. And now this is before Tank Dell got hurt.
Yeah.
And some other guy came into the thing, and he's like, that's crazy. He's going to be looking at Marvin Harrison, Adunze, or Malik Neighbors
as top 3,
as one of his top 3 picks. And, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, for me, I would rather I see what Tank Dell's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck these other 3 guys are going to do. I expect them to all be good.
Yeah.
But they have yet to take an NFL snap in a regular season game, and even so far back then, the guy was like roasting me, and I took screenshots because I don't hope, because in order for him to be wrong and me to be right, these other guys have to fail, and it's terrible to wish that someone else fails, but. Just in case I'm right.
Just in case. But I mean, I look back at like somebody like Kenny Galladay, who was drafted fairly high, was decent, had a big year with the Giants.
Balled out? Well, he never had a big year with the Giants.
Not with Giants, with Lions. Excuse me. And
was
this good receiver, and then ended up at the Giants, and the organization just kind of killed him. Like it didn't happen.
Well, he kind of killed himself too. But and I get what you're saying because Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he's like, I would rather not play football, but I don't know. I don't see Malik Neighbors like. he went to the Giants. He's an amazing talent.
He's been balling out, dude.
It's hard to
like the beat reporters talking about, this dude is different.
Yeah, and when Jalen Hyatt's there, who's been also balling out, a lot of time. It can't go all ways, if that makes sense. So somebody's got to take a step back. And I would take Tank Dell well over.
I would take Tank Dell over Malik Neighbors. Marvin Harrison, I would take him over Odunze and Malik Neighbors. I may be wrong for that. Marvin Harrison, I might not take him over that, and it's just because of the QB situation, the fact that he's Marvin Harrison Jr. and Marvin Harrison Sr. is fucking amazing.
There's a lot there to say, and I get that, but
and based off of the college production and stuff like that, but
to say it's outrageous,
outrageous.
To say that it's
crazy.
It's absurd. That's where I get off. I'm like, some of these people are like, this is ridiculous.
And it was a single QB league.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, do you really know what ridiculous means? Like, it's not really ridiculous. It's a little out there, but if you trust your gut in fantasy, which is what we all have to do in order to play this game properly, you got to trust your gut, because you're not going to win taking everybody else's advice and only putting it on there.
I made a trade today in a best ball league. It's an IDP best ball league. Super flex. Dude was hurting so bad for quarterback. He had no QB2. He had JJ McCarthy, I think, or something.
Yeah.
He had something, but
I just moved him to my IR in one league. So.
His second QB was done. He sent me two 2025 firsts and a 2025 second and Tony Pollard for Bo Nix and it's the Lad McConkey and Lad McConkey. And I like both of those guys, but I didn't need either one of them. They were both deep in my bench on this. It was a startup. I drafted well. I got a lot of studs on my team. And so I was like, whatever. I get two first, a second, and Tony Pollard.
And a shot at Pollard. That gives you a little running back depth, which we all know is crucial.
And I was balls deep in wide receiver depth and quarterback depth. So I didn't really need it. Those guys were on my taxi.
And I'm not super sold like a lot of people are that Lad's going to be a huge impact this year.
It's not even a Lad that I'm sold on. It's that offense.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying.
People are just like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. There's Herbert, there's Lad. It's like, do you know what the fuck Greg Roman does? He's historically at the bottom of the league in pass rate. He's historically at the bottom of the league in pass usage. He runs, and guess what? So does Jim Harbaugh. Run. That's what they do. That's what they build. And so, it's like, get ready, Herbert and Chargers. If you have Chargers receivers and Chargers quarterbacks, get ready. Get ready to be disappointed, because that's what I think. I saw a stat. I've said this before on the podcast. I'll say it again. One time in Greg Roman's entire career as an offensive coordinator has a quarterback thrown for more than 25 passes in a game. Once.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, and in that game, pretty sure it was 27 passes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the guy threw for 40.
And they were all to Keenan Allen.
Yeah. Now you look at but if you look at what Lamar did, Lamar had a super efficient year the year that he won the MVP. He threw 1 billion touchdowns, but it was one of the most efficient years. I think he had a 9% touchdown rate, which is insane.
Yeah.
Anything over 6 is like great.
Yes, yeah.
And so, but I got one more.
Is
hot
this
take.
your biggest, bestest one?
I don't know if it's my biggest, bestest one. It's not going to surprise anybody, because I've been spewing love for this man all off season. We've been spewing love for this man.
Oh, Sam Darnold.
It's Samuel.
Samuel Darnold.
No, it is DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf is going to be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver this year.
I'm not even going to argue. I'm, and here's why I'm not going to argue, because I want this. I don't have DK anywhere.
Yeah,
not anywhere, but I want this so bad. I want DK to be.
This is the year that DK puts
guy.
Himself up there with the CeeDee Lambs, the Jamar Chases, the guys that and you have
where he belongs.
Yeah, well, you got an offensive coordinator coming in who wants to throw the fuck out of the football. Now, granted, he was a college OC, so that's why this is a hot take, because college OCs sometimes shit the bed.
Yeah,
but he's coming in, and Geno Smith is his quarterback. Also, why it's a hot take
for a couple weeks.
Yeah, but I had to look at it from both angles. If Sam Howell does come in, I still think he'll be forced to throw the ball enough. But I think Geno is going to ride this throughout. I think Geno is going to have a decent season, and this is the year that DK is going to absolutely light up the scoreboard and just establish himself as an elite receiver in this league, as he should have been from the get-go. If he had been playing with Joe Burrow or even Brock Purdy or any of these top-end QBs, he would have already established himself that way.
Yeah.
But he first played in a system with Russ Wilson, who they wanted to run the fuck out of the football and not let Russ cook.
Yep.
And now, and then Geno got the job last year, and it was still that same system, but he's always been that fringe wide receiver 1, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that neighborhood. It just needs a little bit of love. He needs a little bit more love, and he's going to go out there, and this will be the year that he dominates, showcases, and just puts it out there. And I'm going to be super pumped, because in redraft leagues and in our home dynasty, I traded your lovely bride for him last year. So, I've got him in a ton of redrafts this year. So
I like it. I'm on board. Anytime we can talk about DK on a weekly basis, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to be talked about on a weekly basis. Either
don't threaten me with a good time.
Bottom or tops. So
he's always a top.
He's
never a bottom.
There's no way DK is a bottom.
DK's never a bottom.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
It's in his contract.
It is. That's what he gets his extension for.
Oh, he's got an extension. I've heard.
He doesn't need it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. There's a reason DK got a restraining order.
Yeah. I'm not going to speak to that because I didn't set it up. In case you're listening, DK, I have no restraining order against you.
No, he got one against us.
Oh. It's not me. It's just, don't, it's not me. I'm not part of it. But yes.
Well, there it is. There's some hot takes to kick off the season.
A couple to talk about later with your friends.
Yeah. Or not.
Or talk shit to us.
Yeah.
Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. I mean,
as long as you're not talking shit about DK, because that'll make me sad.
You know what? If it gets interaction, talk a little shit about DK. Just know that you might not wake up. In a nice way. In a very nice way.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how you can mean that in a nice way.
I'm just saying.
I don't know how you can mean that in a nice way.
Sometimes you just got to pretend.
Yeah. You just tell somebody, well, you may not wake up, but I mean that in a nice way.
I mean that in a nice way.
That sounds ominous as fuck, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this is how we get the restraining orders.
But yeah, let us know and shoot us some of your hot takes. We'll talk about them next time.
Oh man,
I would
love to hear some hot takes.
Any kind of hot takes.
Any and all hot takes.
Cold takes. Hell, I'll tell you a cold take.
And listen, don't shoot them here if you don't want to get roasted. Because if it's dumb, I'm going to fucking roast you.
And I will lightly roast you so that you still listen to us.
I will absolutely fucking dark roast that shit.
Also, beer of the week. Hit us up.
Yes,
it's been a minute.
Absolutely.
I mean, so just all of it.
Every bit of everything interaction wise we can get.
I'll take it.
Yes,
I will take it.
So reviews on Apple,
YouTube,
yes.
Twitter.
If you comment on the video, that would be probably the easiest way. At this point, either email AVGNFLPOD. I know it's NFL, but that was the old show. But same email. Yep. AVGNFLPOD@gmail.com.
Yep.
Shoot us an email. But if you go on to YouTube and you find our videos and you just comment, I should get a notification that says that somebody commented, and then I can go on there and look at it and whatever. But yeah,
let us know.
Give us all you got
and hit us up.
But if you go to avgffpod.com, there's a contact us there. You can click that
Straight to it.
and just shoot that. And I should also get
won't even have
notification
to,
for that.
You won't even have to know the Gmail. You just click
Right.
that and it just goes right to it.
Yeah. So hopefully that alerts me as well. But
Easy peasy.
easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
And if it doesn't alert us, yell at us somewhere else. Just
Yeah,
go to the Facebook and say, "Hey, I've been trying to contact y'all," or something. Figure it out.
I will never ignore you because
Yeah,
there's
no.
not enough of you
There's-
contacting us to be ignored.
There's never an intentional ignore.
I will give
It's
you
all.
I will give you your airtime.
You will get shout outs.
good or bad. You'll get your shout out.
We'll fucking call you. We don't care.
This is how we get restraining orders.
I know. But we'll call you. I don't care.
All right, y'all be good out there, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later.
Holla.